AskReddit Weisel a little creepy. People who got bullied, what are your bullies doing now? If you know. The guy who terrorized me and made my life a living hell through 6th 7th grade came up to me at a party when I was 21 and apologized to me. He became a pharmacist. He had parents that beat him and broke his things. He's really changed. I'm not the only person he apologized to. Things like this make me have an appreciation toward life. He's great for changing. He's dead. Middle school bully. I understood that he developed a drinking problem later in life and died of cirrhosis. F you, Anthony. Mine committed suicide a few years ago. Felt bad for his family, but can't say I was sorry to hear it. I used to weigh a lot and got bullied for it. Now I lost so much weight and the bullies are fat. You should bully them for being fat, haha. Doing well in a programmer job and got me into the field as well. That's a cool turn of events. Testament to the fact programming will humble most people quick. He was murdered by someone in college he bullied like he bullied me. I'd love to go dance on his grave sometime, but I just don't care enough to do that. His accomplice who also bullied me sadly became good friends with my younger brother later in life. I got to personally tell him I'll never forgive him and I hope he knows what kind of damage he did to me. Never seen him around again, but I did see him in the paper getting a DUI. One died of a drug overdose, and the second is serving time in prison for rape. That's so terrible. Mine was a group of 8 people. One works in banking, the other has a wife and kids and his own construction company. One other is a marine biologist and I think they are the only ones I know about. I did beat the crap out of the banker when I saw him out when I was 18 though. I'd grown bigger than him at that point and he thought it was funny to mock the fact me reporting the bullying resulted in being ostracized and having to change schools. Did the marine biologist ever pull a titleist from a whale's blowhole? She had her kids taken away from her because of her substance abuse issues. I don't really know. I'm still in touch with a lot of friends from those years, but most of the people who were bullies just vanished over the years. Most of them are just normal people. I'm not interested in talking to them, but 2 stand out. One is in prison for murder. He and his friend tried to take advantage of a drunk girl at a party, but they were stopped and thrown out by another kid. They came back later that night with a gun and killed him. Another died from a car crash about 15 years ago. The murderer was actually less of a bully than that dead one, so I was very happy when I heard about it. Imagine being prevented committing a horrific crime, only to go welp, might as well double down. 25 to life. Kidnapped a businessman for ransom then accidentally killed him. Like Marvin accidentally? One doesn't seem to have an online presence and I don't remember the last name of the other, so whatever, fuck 'em. They made my life hell through middle school and it's not like they ever tried to find me to make amends, so I'm not above hoping nothing good happened to them. My 2 bullies are polar opposites. One is in prison for murder, the other is a preacher. So neither has an internal moral compass and needed to be told what to do by a rule book. That tracks. Life is hardly fair. One bully I later became friends with, and 10 years later he tried to take his own life. Saw him a few weeks ago. He's still pretty shell-shocked. He works in the prison system, so I think that shattered his spirits. I still think he may try again at some point. Dude is in a negative feedback loop. Another person I thought was my friend, who then assaulted me in high school. Later went on to become kind of officer in the Air Force. He lives a few streets over from me and he tried to say hi once. I told him unless he wants to apologize for sucker punching me in front of the entire class in high school, we have nothing to talk about. He conveniently forgot about that. He denied and refused. He's not thinking of me nearly as much as I think of him. It sucks how much the shit memories can overwhelm the good ones. I can remember the names and faces of everyone who ever gave me shit to outright torment, but I have to write down my friends' and loved ones' birthdays. I assume living fulfilling lives with a great career with a loving Sue and kids. I don't want to confirm this by looking them up. Doing well. Running major foundation, TV expert, after being arrested for sexual assault that was pleaded out as a misdemeanor. Life is not fair. Bad guys finish first. It's similar to mine. They all got well-paying jobs, a wife and a family. Which makes sense. They all came from well-off families with several generations of college graduates, which was why they bullied me. I did not. Lots of people like to tell kids that bullies won't succeed in life, but they do. I used to often console myself telling myself that they're probably not happy. Or I imagined revenge, sending copies of reports that my parents wrote for the school to their wives and bosses, detailing all the vile shit they did to me and my friends. But I never did that and I got too busy with my own life to think about it a lot. I haven't looked any of them up actively for years and years now. I just wish LinkedIn would stop suggesting them as contacts. Probably still selling drugs and intimidating other people, probably earning quite some cash until he inevitably overdoses or gets arrested. I don't care. He broke my arm once. Took some time to got over that, but I couldn't care less now. They either got married to rich families or are successful as hell at their current jobs. Some did both. The same happened to my former bullies, and a good friend told me at best the meanest people in the world always get the best luck. I was the hated bully. I joined the military at 17, a blessing for my parents who gladly signed the waiver. Most of my counterparts were older and they were certainly more mature. Being the alpha in this environment wasn't an option, which I learned quickly. The military teaches teamwork, mission first, unit cohesion and uniformity. They use discipline and peer pressure to achieve it, but there is also a certain pride that's involved in not letting your team down. Helping the weaker links is essential. Trying to dominate another team member will bring the combined force of the entire unit down on your ass. I was a jerk as a teenager, but I was never stupid. I learned to excel in this environment and I've been a better human ever since. Both pretty dead. Although I was able to stand up for myself as a kid, those two would try to fuck with me daily for whatever reason. Has a law firm he inherited from his dad. From the replies, there seem to be two kinds of bullies. The ones that think they can get away with everything because their parents are well off and probably past that sense of entitlement to their children. And then there are the really primitive ones. The first follow their parents, the latter are dead, in prison, doing drugs, or are just miserable. I got bullied for my wide bulbous droopy nose, and I'm currently recovering from a rhinoplasty. One day I fell through the rabbit hole of looking at random Facebook accounts from high school, and I realized my childhood best friend Anna, who said I needed a nose job, has a hooked crooked nose. She used to email me comparing me to the proboscis monkey. CJ was a wannabe movie school bully who sarcastically said I had a beautiful nose. Him and his girlfriend did a photo shoot with a local photographer, and I saw a photo on the Instagram page. In a photo showing them looking at each other, side profile, they both have crooked hooked noses. I never noticed because I was insecure about myself and didn't look at other people's noses. He runs an agency for event planning. Each time I see him in town I want to fucking dropkick him. Probably much better than me.